Okay, hi there. We're taking a look at the Chapter 7 mid-level, specifically Step 3, where we're going to build an if statement. And here on the screen, I'm showing you the instructions for Step 3. It says, in cell L2, enter a nested logical function. Whenever you see logical function, it almost always means an if function. Your other choices are an and function or an or function, but it almost always means if. Okay, so enter a nested if function to display highly valuable if either of these conditions are met. So if the release date is on or before December 31st, 94, and I just want to remind you that a date, we're going to treat a date like a number. So when it says a release date is on or before, we'll just say is equal to or less than. If that date's a number, any date preceding it would be a less than, kind of think of it that way, it'd be a less than number. Okay, so if that condition is met, or if the sold out status is yes, the percentage increase in the value is at least 500 and the addition size was less than 700. So we've got one nice easy test to check for, one condition to check for, and then the other condition is like a series of conditions all mushed together. Okay, so if either of those are met, then we're going to tell Excel, return to us this phrase, highly valuable. If any of those conditions are not met, then we're going to return, that's what the next line says. It says enter an empty text string. Which what that means is we're just going to use double quotes with nothing in between it. So what we'll see is like a blank return. In real life, I never recommend you return a blank because then you don't know what you should always return something. So in real life, you would return a statement like not highly valuable or no or something. But in this case, the book likes it this way. We're just going to return a blank or an empty text string. So what we'll do is we'll use double quotes with nothing in the middle. Okay, and then the last line says you need to nest two if function within the if test argument. Use cell references to set all conditions and then copy. Once you have it in L2, just copy it down the way. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to hide that one back there. Let's get started on L2. So we're going to say equals if. So we're using an if statement. And then remember that the instructions said if either of the conditions are met. So if either of them can be met, it's kind of like I give this example in a different video when we talk about if statements. I give my kids an if statement. If your room is clean or your homework is done, then you can have a cookie. So it's the same thing here. If this or that. So type in the left-hand parentheses to get the if function started, but then we're going to nest an or statement there, right? Either of those conditions, the room is clean or the homework's done, then you get the cookie. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're building the or function. We have to follow the same rules as any function, and the rule is after the function name comes that left-hand parentheses. The arguments to the function belong within parentheses. Okay, so the first condition was, gotta remind myself, the first condition was if the release date is less than or equal to, and we have this date over in the O column, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to say if F2 is less than or equal to, and it was that December 31st, 94, here it is, this date. So we're going to use O4, and O4 should be an absolute reference. And I don't think they make us use, I don't think we have to use a mixed reference in this case. Oh, sorry, F4 to make it an absolute reference. So if the release date, that's one condition. Now we're ready for that second line. Remember the first line, I'm going to show it here on the screen. So we've just done this line. Now we have to do the second line, which is actually, like three things. Sold out status is yes. Percentage increase is at least 500. Addition size is less than 700. We have to do all those things. So the or is, this is going to get complicated. The or is if the homework's done or the room is clean. So we got the first part of the or, now we're working on the second part of the or. But in our case, we're not saying or the room is clean. We're saying this, and then there's 3 parts to this. So now we're going to nest an and statement because we have 3 things that it has to meet. So type in and your and function. Same rules apply. Type in the function name. The function name is followed by a parentheses. And so for this one, the first thing was if it's sold out, right? That was our first one. Yeah. So if I2 equals, and well, so then you have to stop and think, well, how do you know it's sold out? Well, we have a sold out column and it's either blank or yes. So if it's sold out, the sold out column, whoopsie daisy, holds the word yes. And we remember that Excel never understands text. We always have to put text in quotes. So there, if I2 equals yes, that's the first test. The second test was, is the sorry about that, is the percentage increase greater or equal to 500%. So the percentage increase sits here in K2. I can't click on it because my function's getting so big. So I'm just going to type K2 is greater than or equal to, is greater than or equal to 500%, which sits in O3. O3 then has to become absolute reference. All right, and then our third part of that test was if the addition size was more than, what was it again? If the addition size, if the addition size was less than 700. So addition size is E2, less than 700 is O2, absolute reference. So I'm hitting F4 to make that an absolute reference. All right, I think we got it. If or, and then we have the 2 ors, F2, and then the other or is this and statement. And equals, I think, okay, all right. Now we have to end the parentheses. The first parentheses closes up the and statement. The second parentheses closes up the or statement. See how they're getting color coded? The last parentheses closes up the if. Fingers crossed, grab your lucky rabbit's foot, hit enter. Oh, fiddlesticks, I did something wrong. Let's see. Oh, you know what? That's so funny. You know what we did wrong? Here, this is so silly. So I'm going to back up. I did all of the tests, but I didn't tell Excel what to do if any. I didn't tell Excel what to do when the tests are met. All right, so back up over your parentheses. Do 1 parentheses to close the and statement. Do a second parentheses to close the or statement. Add a comma. Now, Excel, here's what I want you to do if this is true. Return the phrase highly, highly valuable. If it's true, return highly valuable. Add a comma. If it's false, return an empty text string or whatever, however it said that, which you'll see I just typed in double quotes. Now, last parentheses to close up the if statement. Okay, cross your fingers, hit enter. There it is. And look, it did nothing. Well, it did nothing because the tests aren't met for this particular one. You can see that I've already filled it in down the column. I'm going to fill it in again. I think we have like 7 things that are highly valuable. Oh no, 5. We have 5 highly valuable pieces of artwork, and the rest are just empty. And that's because it's false. If I would have said in here, return the pennies result, right? It returns pennies result. So that's how you know that it worked, is that it's blank. All right, give it a try. Let me know if you have any other questions.